Hello to all my classes, all my ag classes. I'm really excited to see you all and actually start teaching online. This is actually right now the start of extra credit for you all, just a little bit. Basically what I'm doing now is starting ag classes online a little bit with YouTube and stuff. So this is a really cool opportunity for you all as of now to earn extra credit because we already had those NTI days scheduled. So this is really cool. If we continue online after this, we'll actually have an opportunity for more NTI days on this for actually full credit, for actual grade. But as of now, this is extra credit opportunities for you all. So I just want to say welcome to Miss Elder's Ag Class Online. This is a really cool opportunity for you all, like I said, and I'm so excited to learn and grow with you all as well online at social distance level. So it's a really cool opportunity that I'm excited to have. A few things that I wanted to go ahead and say. I hope you all are doing well. We love and we miss you so much. And also, during this, I want you to be open-minded. There will be different topics every day, and I'll tell you today's topic here in a second. But there's one more thing that I want to do for you all. I want you to roll coal. Y'all know I say ROCO every single day, so that's what I want you to do throughout this journey, and I think this will be a really cool opportunity. So today's topic is actually we have Miss Gracie Furnish. She's a previous national officer and state officer of the Kentucky FFA. This today is for my Principals of Ag Kids. This is a really cool opportunity for you all because I know before we left, before all this happened, you all were interested in leadership roles, and this is a really cool leadership role for you all. I'm kind of going to pick her brain today, and she's going to offer advice for you all as we come within these leadership roles within the future. So I'm really excited, and let's get ready to rumble. Furnish.
Hey y'all, I'm Gracie Furnish. I'm originally from Cynthiana, Kentucky, otherwise known as Harrison County, Kentucky, which is northeast of Lexington. And I am currently a junior at the University of Kentucky, and I'll share a little bit about kind of how I got to where I am right now. I have always grown up in Harrison County. My family is from there, and so my experiences in agriculture began when I was about 2 weeks old. I got home from the hospital when I was a baby, and my dad took me out in my little baby seat, and we went to check cattle, and so I'm in the back seat of my little baby seat, and the cattle get out. So one of my first experiences was riding around with my dad trying to chase the cattle back in the right area of the farm. But anyway, I've grown up in a family that raises beef cattle. We used to have burley tobacco. My dad will not be raising that this year. And then now with some experiences in industrial hemp and growing industrial hemp for CBD purposes, fiber, other opportunities as well. And so grew up doing all of that, but never really saw my spot in agriculture until I was in middle school and got to take a middle school ag class. Didn't really get into FFA in middle school, which I kind of regret that now, but I was playing soccer at the time and just really interested in other things. Anyway, took a freshman ag class like y'all are in right now. I think if this is going to your freshman class. Took a freshman ag class, was really encouraged by my ag teacher to compete in the FFA Creed contest, and so I did that. Got to compete at regional, got to compete at state, and that's truly how my FFA journey began and has kind of, I don't know, it's just been a wild journey to this point. It feels weird thinking that was, like almost 8 years ago when I said the FFA Creed. So it's a cool journey. So after competing in the freshman Creed contest, I was also really encouraged by some older members and by my ag teacher to apply for a committee chairman position. So I was actually the co-committee chairman of our community service committee. Really got involved in that. Got to go to FFA camp for the first time, which I loved. Got to go to state convention. Then got to go to national convention. All these really cool things that were happening. And then got to plan some cool community service opportunities for our chapter. And so that's also where I think the leadership within FFA began beyond the FFA Creed. Throughout all of high school, competed in different CDEs, LDEs. I loved prepared public speaking. That was probably my favorite LDE event. And then also doing extemporaneous, things like that. I went from being a committee chairman to chapter vice president my junior year of high school, and then chapter president my senior year. I was also really fortunate to serve as a regional officer for the Northern Kentucky region, which was a lot of fun. And then interviewed to be a state officer. And I think ever since my freshman year of high school going to state convention, I saw those state officers and I just saw how cool FFA was and how much I wanted to be involved in it. And I think that was probably the first time that seed was like planted in my mind that I wanted to be a state officer. But I will say that there were some hard things that happened between my junior and senior year, and I almost thought about giving up FFA. I thought about stepping down from my position as a chapter officer. Just a lot of things were going on. And almost thought about not running for state office, but I'm so thankful that I stuck with it, and things got a lot better during my senior year, and ended up running for state office and served as state secretary. And so I'm really thankful for that experiences. And that year as a state officer was probably one of the coolest experiences of my life. And yes, it was a lot of personal growth and personal development, but it was more just being inspired by members across our state and being inspired by my teammates and state staff and people that we got to work with. And so that was truly a phenomenal experience. Then at the end of state office, I honestly never thought a ton about running for national office. I think a lot of people have these moments in FFA, their freshman or sophomore year of high school, that they're like, I want to be a national officer, and that's a goal forever. I think I never truly saw that potential in myself, and I didn't really think I had it in me to do it. But then at the end of state office, some different people encouraged me and said, hey, I think you should really try this. And I was like, okay, I think that would be really neat to do. And I think I wasn't ready to be done serving in FFA, and I knew I could take it to the next level. And so I applied and was selected for our state, and then interviewed a national convention. And that process is a very long process. I kept telling myself all these reasons why I wouldn't get it. I wasn't state president. I wasn't very well known by other people from across the nation. I was younger, all these different things. And so I was kind of standing in my own way. And eventually I just had to stop. And I was encouraged by a lot of really great people. And I just had to work hard and do my best. And I knew that if it was meant to happen, that it would happen. And if not, it was still an incredible opportunity to get to interview and to get to go through that process. The best probably experience out of all of my time in FFA was anytime I was at an FFA camp. And so whether that was Kentucky FFA camp or when I was a national officer, I got to go to 4 different FFA camps. And I just think it's so cool. All these people come together for 1 week, and there's just so much fun. There's so much personal growth. There's so many relationships that are built. And I don't know, at the end of every one of those weeks, I just felt so changed, on the inside, and just inspired again. And I think those places were truly just places and people that really shaped who I am and why I do what I do. So any type of FFA camp, those are probably my favorite experiences ever. I think if I could go back and change anything, and this is something that I'm still struggle with today, is to quit worrying so much about what other people think about me. I'm definitely kind of a people pleaser, or I want everybody to be happy with what's going on, and I hate to upset anybody. I hate to make anybody angry. And I think in high school that was hard, especially working on officer teams. I know some of you all, either right now or maybe in the future, are going to be on officer teams. And I would say, do the best that you can and be positive with everybody and be kind to everybody. But sometimes you can't control how people are going to respond, and you can't control what people think. Also in competitions, also in interviews and speeches and parley, whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's your job or on athletics, whatever it is, just don't let yourself get so bogged down worrying about what other people think. And that's something I'm still struggling with right now, but that would be my biggest piece of advice to you, is that the people who are meant to be in your life will be in your life, and they'll accept you for who you are. And the people that either don't like what you're doing or don't like who you are, then they're not meant to be there anyway.
What was your SAE?
My SAE goes back to being involved on my family's farm. I had a couple different ones because me being Gracie, I didn't spend enough time in each one of them, so I had a couple different ones to get all my hours. But one was Burley tobacco production, so helping on my family's farm doing that. Another one was raising beef cattle, so I had a couple bottle calves and helping my dad out taking care of our herd of cattle. And then I had an industrial hemp research one, so I did an agri-science project about society's perception of hemp, and so that also turned into an SAE. I'm kind of envious and jealous of like people who have really neat ones of starting their own business, or I know there was one girl that did this tie-dye thing with Hinton Mills in Fleming County. So I wish like I would have thought about that and maybe done some more creative things, even though I'm super thankful for the experience I have on my family's farm. My favorite agriculture class was probably, I go back and forth, probably vet science. I loved, or actually it was beef and equine science. I loved that one. Savannah Robin, Miss Robin, she taught that. And I absolutely loved that class. And then also floral design, if I can throw two in there. Both Miss Robin taught, and I love that woman, and she's one of the reasons that she's one of the reasons that I saw my true potential, and that now I'm doing what I'm doing is because I was first inspired by her. But I just love the topic of beef and equine sciences, and then also like the hands-on part of floral design. And both of those classes were just different than any traditional class I've had before. Okay. FFA has truly set me up for success and everything to come in the future. And I think one of the biggest ways is in a way, like a non-tangible way that I would have thought of before. FFA has definitely given me leadership skills, communication, hard work, like organization, all those things. But I think relationships is the other way, a way that I didn't really expect FFA to set me up for success now and in the future. All the people that I've met through FFA, the people who have empowered me, the friendships, everything. It's taught me a lot about mentorship too, and how I want to be a mentor to other people. It's also given me my best friends for life, and like best friends that I have here at UK too, and then across the nation. And that's something I'm forever thankful for. I am an agriculture education major here at UK. I don't know if I want to teach in the classroom, if I want to do something else, but I definitely know, and FFA has taught me that I want to, number one, be mentoring and empowering people, and also promoting agriculture. So we'll see where that takes me. Going to, on the topic of interviews, going all the way from committee chairman to chapter office, state office, national, definitely grew a lot from that first interview I ever did. I think the biggest thing for me was learning how to be more conversational in interviews, because I think for a long time I tried to be way too polished, like way too, like say the perfect things, have a rehearsed answer, and people encouraged me later on to just be more conversational in it. So like you're sitting down talking with a friend, like you definitely want to still like have some of that professionalism, but just being comfortable with the people in that room. Something that helped me a lot with thinking of answers to my interview questions was journaling, and people encouraged me to like have a story journal of all these different things that I've experienced in life through jobs, through playing sports, through FFA, ag classes, family, friends, anything. So then when I was asked those questions, I had stories to back it up. It wasn't just me saying, oh, I'm a good team player, and that be it. Like I could tell a story as to a time I was a good team player or a bad team player, like all across the board. So that was something that really helped me, because I have a hard time thinking on the spot, and that definitely helped. And I think practicing, like anytime you can do an interview and get that practice, even if you don't get the job or you don't get the internship or whatever, it's just so good to have that experience. Some life advice that I have, and I'll say this too, like I'm a culmination of all the incredible people that have poured into me, and I think some life advice that I have, no matter if you're in FFA, outside of FFA, whatever you do, just know your why, and know why you do what you do. And there's a really good book if you're at home and you're super bored. It's called Start With Why by Simon Sinek, so definitely check it out, or go on YouTube and he has a really cool video. But no matter what you do something that makes you fulfill your purpose and makes you feel on fire to get up every day and do what you're doing. And if you try something and you realize like that's not what sets your soul on fire, then do something else. Like it's okay to move around. It's okay to not stick with one thing. I think another thing, one of my favorite quotes ever is, when you notice something beautiful or something great or something wonderful in someone, tell them, because for you it can only take a second to say that, but for them it can last a lifetime. And I can't remember who said that to me or where I read it, but I think it's so true. It's just like I think we need more empowerment in this world, and it only takes us a second to say something, send a text, say something to someone in person, but for that person it could last a lifetime and honestly change their life. And so I just say good luck to you. Try to see the positive in COVID-19, even though it's crazy for all of us, and stay safe.